So, first of all, China, Japan, and similar Asian countries originally enacted the strict immigration policies that they have to keep Western Europeans out. China used to have open ports, and then they closed their ports to the British because the British sailors were so poorly behaved, and Britain didn't like that. So they invaded, and then came the First Opium War around the same time that Western imperialist nations were colonizing all over Asia. So the first opportunity these Asian countries got, they expelled everyone, they locked down their borders, and they enacted strict immigration policies. As for China, China is currently the world's largest provider outside of Africa of scholarships for African students, and that hasn't been without challenges. I've heard of African students feeling socially isolated during their college experience, and whom, upon graduation, find that they don't have a lot of job prospects in China or even with Chinese corporations working in their home countries. However, that China provides so many scholarships to African students, I think, is a good indication of whom they want. Now, you say that everyone knows the answer. You are so certain that when people are home alone, late at night, in the dark, where nobody can hear or see their thoughts and judge, everyone agrees with you that the answer is Western Europeans. But let me ask you this. Why on earth do you think that the people of the global majority would agree with you? Now, it's because it used to work. When you could control the information that people receive about one another and about themselves, oppressors were able to tell lies about the people whom they oppress, but those days are coming to an end. You are not so subtly attempting to move the goalpost. Now, as I said in my previous video, it is not as if African immigration to China has been without issues like social isolation, because I have no problem acknowledging anti-Blackness that exists among Asians and Asian Americans, because it is only by being honest about the issues that exist in our histories and within our communities that we can hope to ever change them. However, the question was not, would China support a sudden influx of immigrants from Africa? Because I'll save you the suspense. China's strict immigration policies let us know that they do not want a sudden influx of immigrants from anywhere. The question was, if faced with a sudden influx of immigrants, would China prefer that they be from Africa or Western Europe? And I was using evidence like China offers more scholarships to African students than to EU students, and looking at the African nations that China would like to become part of BRICS are strong indications that if faced with a sudden influx of immigrants, China would prefer that they be from Africa than from Western Europe. And the irony is, I'm Taiwanese American. It is really not in my nature to speak positively about China. I've talked in the past about growing up with a heavy amount of internalized xenophobia. But what made me reconsider was being on this platform and noticing how anti-Blackness and xenophobia often coexist in the same types of people. And that made me realize that if I'm aware of the lies that are told about Black people, maybe I need to reconsider how much I think I know about China is true.